Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with a story in which our OP tracked down and got his revenge on the thief. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Steal my CC info? Let's see if I can ruin you. Around Christmas time, I bought myself a new motorcycle. I figured I would use one of my unused CCs for gear, gas, etc. I made a few online charges from reputable retailers in preparation for a 900-mile trip in a week. After my trip, and about 30 CC charges later, I get a fraud alert from Bank of America, and the text detailed the last 5 charges. All gas stations. No biggie, I made them. The next day, I get a call from the fraud department asking about $2,100 in charges. I flipped, they refunded, they contacted the 2 retailers, new CC, but was told it's been handled. I was pretty sure I hit a skimmer. Fast forward a month later, I get another charge. Turns out there's some Visa agreement that retailers can force charges through even with old numbers, so I call up retailer number 1 and the automated system recognizes my number and greets me. I've never even heard of this company. It wasn't my name, and I've had my phone number for about 12 years. So I say yes and have the nice robot give me an order history. Sure as crap, the date and purchase amount match, so I get an operator to ask to verify the address because I never got it. Address turns out to be a specific country importer. I figured it was bogus. Then it hit me. Skimmers won't get a phone number off a mag strip. That narrowed it down to 2 transactions I did over the phone. One was Geico, the other was a motorcycle parts company. Now, the company we'll call MPC was based out of New Jersey. Coincidentally, that's the shipping address. So I call retailer number 2, give the CC number used, the shipping address, and he pulls up the order. I'm pretty blunt with him about why I'm calling, and I was able to squeeze out the phone number, New Jersey area code, so I do a reverse lookup of the number. I have a name to my thief. So after more digging, I found her on LinkedIn, and she lists MPC as her employer. Next step is I call MPC, and guess who answers? I ask for a manager. He's conveniently out of town. She left a note and my callback number on his desk. Next week I call again. Guess who answers again? Guess who's also in a meeting? I give it one more shot the next day at 2 p.m. or so. Plenty of time for lunch meetings to be done. Surely he's there. Nope, wasn't there all day. At this point, I know she's recognizing my phone number and screening my calls, so I grab a Google Voice number and put myself in Alabama, call back around 4 p.m. In my deepest, most southern accent, I ask for the manager. He was helping me and we got disconnected or some sob story. Sure thing. I finally get a hold of him. So I lay out my case and evidence. He's shook and feels betrayed. It was the name on the CSM. He let her go the next morning after she confessed to it. So next I stroll down to the local police department to file a report, give them everything I have. Detective giggles and looks surprised. I'm pretty much handing her on a silver platter, forwards it to whatever New Jersey precinct so they can file charges. Not surprised by MPC's action. When an employer steals customer credit card info, it gives the company a bad name. The only way to fix this is take immediate action against the thief, otherwise the company will lose business. And our second story. You'd better follow orders, no questions asked. Okay, enjoy losing a contract. Years ago, I worked for a security company. I was working at a specific place where I wrote parking tickets for people that parked illegally or without paying in the paid lot. I know I'm already coming across as evil, but it was a job and someone had to do it. For parking tickets, once the ticket is written and on the vehicle, the only real choices are to pay the ticket or fight it in court. If we wrote the ticket but didn't put it on the vehicle yet, then we could just mark it as drove away and send the ticket in like that. So it basically just cancels itself. Some people would try to give them back so we could cancel them as a drive-away, but we had to explain to everyone that it didn't work that way. Now, there is a procedure to go through to get them canceled if they were already on the vehicle. For instance, if we made a mistake and the ticket should have never been written, and that's to send them off to the head office, have one of the managers fill out a form, and send it to the city. I worked there for just over a year, and we did that a total of 2 times that I can remember. One day, as I was just about to leave, one of the new site supervisors came up to me, handed me a ticket that had been crumpled up, unfolded, and ripped in spots that someone gave to him. He didn't ask, but demanded that I write it as a drive-away. I politely reminded him that once the ticket is written, it's illegal to cancel it like he was asking, but if we send it to the office, the manager could. He didn't like that response, as all he said was, "We'll see," and walked away. So I went home for the day. Before I even got home, I got a voicemail, driving so didn't answer, from HR saying that I have to go into the head office tomorrow instead of going in for my normal shift. I was brought into the HR manager's office and was told that I was being removed from that site for insubordination. The manager had put it up the chain that I refused a direct order, and so he didn't want me there anymore. I explained my side of the story, saying that what he was asking me to do was illegal, and that gave him a legal alternative. I explained my side of the story, saying that what he was asking me to do was illegal and gave him a legal alternative. I was told that it was okay for me not to do it because it was illegal, but offering another solution was insubordinate. I should either just do what I'm told or say it's illegal and not say anything else. That's it. No questions asked, no conversation about it. Just do it. However, because I was a decent employee and had friends in the scheduling department, I actually got a promotion out of it and was a mobile supervisor. I still was writing tickets occasionally, but mostly checking up on other security guards, responding to alarm calls, and patrolling sites. How it worked was that I was given a list of sites that I had to go to, super mandatory stuff, and that could involve tickets or making sure doors are locked or whatever. Then whatever else, like making sure guards are okay, random other places, but I could only do that if all the mandatory sites were already done. Some were time sensitive too. My second or third day doing that, on my own after I was shown the ropes, I was going to one of the last mandatory sites of the day when the dispatcher calls and asks me to check up on a guard on the other side of the city. They explained that there wasn't an emergency, just the other supervisors hadn't checked on him in a while, and they wanted someone to make sure he was doing all right. Now, this guard being on the complete opposite side of the city, I'd have no time to go to the last mandatory time-sensitive site if I saw him. Well, missing the site isn't illegal, and my dispatcher, who was our supervisor, gave me a direct order. So I guess I had no choice but to follow direct orders. I wasn't about to help my supervisor and let them know that if I went to the site, I could visit the guard after with time to spare. That would be insubordination. I went and saw the guard, and after going through all the city traffic, by the time I was done there, my shift was over. So I got back to the office, handed in all my paperwork, and left. Next day, I got called in to see HR again. During the meeting with them, I learned that the supervisor before me missed that same site. I missed a few too many times, which is why he wasn't a supervisor anymore. And the client had told him that if it was missed even once more, they'd be canceling the contract. Since I missed it, the client canceled the contract, and now they want an explanation from me. They first asked me if I was aware that I missed it, and weren't expecting me to say yes. They asked why. I told them that my supervisor gave me a direct order to visit the other guard. Since missing the mandatory site isn't illegal, and according to the last meeting, I'm not allowed to question any order, so I went to see the guard. They didn't really have a response to that. They just told me to leave and come back for my regular supervisor shift the next day, and nothing else was said about it. I did notice, however, they never really asked me to check up on random guards after that. And our last story. The best revenge you can get on someone who betrayed you is to let them live life. This happened 6 years ago, but I was thinking about it yesterday and decided to write it now. So, once upon a time, I was married. It was a good relationship for the most part, good communication, and seldom any arguing. Over time, my wife meets a guy. Let's call him Dan. Dan, on the surface, seemed like a cool dude. He and my wife worked together and seemed very close. I didn't really care. They were coworkers. Everybody has that coworker they're close to, right? Over time, I sensed that Dan and my wife are getting too close. She texted him constantly, and I started getting suspicious, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to come off as jealous. One night, I snooped through her phone and found some explicit text she sent to Dan. It basically confirmed that A, she was cheating on me, and B, she wanted to leave me for him. Even though I was pissed that she cheated on me, I also wanted to get out of this marriage ASAP. The next day, I sat her down and told her I knew everything. There were a lot of tears on both sides and denying on her side, but she finally confessed her affair. She basically told me that she loves him and not me. We agreed that we would get divorced amicably, no alimony, and whatever was ours before the marriage is ours after it. It was a very quick divorce. Now, as much as I wanted to kick the crap out of Dan, I didn't want to risk going to jail. At this point, they were in a relationship, living together. Considering she's known him for less than a year at that point, I knew things were going to end badly. A couple of months after the divorce, I moved to the West Coast. I had no communication with my ex from then until a month ago. She messaged me on Facebook and told me she was sorry for how she treated me and that she's miserable and misses me. I decided to look through her profile. She's married to Dan, has 3 kids with him, and they're both horrendously fat. Apparently, soon after they moved in together, she became pregnant with this kid. She had to quit her job because of the pregnancy, and since then hasn't had a job. They got married while she was still pregnant and had 2 more kids. They're living off food stamps and government aid, too. At that point, I felt vindicated. I wanted to get revenge on her and Dan for so long. To see they effed up their own lives so bad was good enough. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.